So they put two big
Right.
rope
Yeah.
heating on that.
Right,
Mhm.
but there's.
Then he said the building's so tight.
I don't think so, I think that would be,
Get
like,
moisture.
like, yeah, like it has to give you a
I can send it to
password.
you and then you can print it for these guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can go in there.
They're saying there's something. But he said it was towards the end of the winter when they got it in, so it's not over 100% how it's gonna work.
Yeah. What's your best?
Town.clerk
Again,
at
buildings.
tunbridgebt.org.
That's my thing. And he said the worst part of the process was all the state energy and everything.
Did they get some grant money or anything, or did they spend their
I
money?
didn't ask him,
The more of that stuff you get, the more you have to do what they say.
but he said going through the permitting and all that was worst part of it.
That right.
Don't have no brakes.
Or that.
You got down over Spring Road like that, too.
Yeah, you
Is that right?
don't use them for slowing down the stuff.
You had a full road?
John Benson, is that who you said?
Yes,
And he's the,
here at the select board.
Okay.
Brookfield.
does he live in Brookfield?
Huh?
Does he live in Brookfield? Must have
What
to.
would you think?
Well, obviously, but I thought,
There's more than one John.
oh, I'm thinking, okay,
Josh Benson,
yes, I'm thinking of Josh Benson, never mind.
they are,
They're probably related to them.
Devin's probably related to them, yeah,
He's a Benson.
yeah.
all right, well, we technically ought to start the meeting,
Yes, so.
and that was part of the road report apparently.
Yes, so anytime you guys wanna get together, you
Yeah.
can send, let him know. And he said they ain't much to see, you just open the doors, walk in, it's
Yeah.
like empty buildings, but. He's glad to and tell us. You know, financial and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that's what we, did, as long as their override is okay. And will be okay for the foreseeable future, we ought to do something like
Yeah.
that. Instead of building a brand new $2 million.
Yeah. And he said, now everything's inside, he said. The garage has still got stuff in it, but he said it's not like. It used to be when they were trying to put a three trucks.
Right.
And a loader in there, you know, you couldn't even walk by them. So he said, you know, they park trucks in there at night, but at least. You can walk by them, get in them.
Well, it's handy too when you get snow plow on and everything, all ready to go out and plow.
Yes.
To have room enough to do that.
Yes. What he told me the dimensions and.
What's the big one?
Yeah,
Must be 50, 60
But-
feet.
but it was long enough to drive in on the plow.
Right.
Anyway, what's the greater going?
And the grader, yeah. Cause that's the main reason they built it, that they had a shed for the grader, but. In the wintertime, you can start it, plug it in and start it. But then you'd have to limp it into the. Garage, let it warm up for 3 or 4 hours. Before you could use it.
Right, yeah.
And probably he'll tell us, but do they heat it
Come on in.
minimum?
Um,
I mean, like 40 degrees or 50
I
degrees?
didn't ask.
Hey, how are you? Yeah. Back in the south?
No, that's my sister-in-law, Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought you went on vacation.
Uh,
That was a while ago.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 8.
Yeah.
It feels like the south right now.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go on with the,
Go on.
And then I was just gonna ask, though, I mean. I never been to
Nobody-
like.
nobody said.
Side shop.
Hey, man.
Or Berkey.
yeah,
So like $2 million.
Shelton was pretty expensive.
Well, $1 million at the time.
Yeah.
And so I bet it's
That was enough
similar
for
to
years.
first years.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
8-10 years, I still know.
anyways, Rodney stopped by this morning and said he couldn't make it tonight, so he gave me a list. There, and not in this particular order either. So, there was somebody that owns land on Sawyer Hill, who was doing some work with an excavator. On a class 4 road. And Ingrid Van Steenberg alerted me to it, now so Rodney went up and looked and said the guy didn't do anything horrible, but. I told him that he ought to tell whoever the fella is, I think he's from Connecticut, that he needs to check in with the town before he does anything like that.
Is that a new owner of the Goulet property?
I don't think so,
Oh.
I think it's, they called it whoever lives in the camp.
Where, no, past the. Pieces that.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's past the end of the class, where the class 4 road ends, where the gate used to be.
Oh, we can pass that.
Yeah. So that's all I know about that. And Rodney said you were gonna look into Mike, the potential for getting a little bit of a break on granite from Barry.
Oh.
I called him up, he was on vacation last week, so.
Yeah.
I'll try to call him,
Anyway, cause he's arranged with.
Yeah.
What's their names? From Sharon
July 2nd.
to all the stuff, and he needs to know which way we're gonna go. But he's assuming we're gonna get the granite. So he just wants to confirm that.
Okay.
And let's see, the Dickens Hill culverts are being put in as we spoke this morning by Pickett. And he thought he was gonna get it done today. He was supposed to do it on the 23rd and 24th. And then Matt's doing a job on Larkin Road for himself. And when he comes out of that next week, I think it is, Rodney wants to replace the culvert by Randy Caswell's, and have Matt do that. And then by Shorty Danvers driveway. And what Ken comes in now. The brook is eroding next to the road, so he wants to get that actual stone before we pave that section of the road, so Matt's gonna do that as well. And the mower is broken, apparently they pulled the yoke off the end of the piston, so they were welding that this morning, to hopefully get that back going again. And then he's talking with Chris Bump about a grant for Kibling Hill, right by where Fry Road meets Kibling on the corner. He's talked before about replacing the culvert. But it's a 30-inch culvert now, and the state wants to put a 6-footer in there, and so he's wrangling about that. So he might get a grant for that. And so Chase is gonna charge 50 cents a ton more for hauling the granite out of Barry.
How much will that be?
50 cents a ton, and it was 2,200 ton, was it, or something like that?
Oh, no, but what did he charge us
Oh, I don't know.
last time?
I just wrote down 50 cents a ton more,
Than previously?
Yeah.
Oh,
just because it took longer to do the round trip than he thought it
Than he
would.
thought. Yeah, cause he's told Rodney he wasn't gonna do it, but I see
Yeah.
him.
So what's
that though?
the truck get for tonnage on it for a load, like 11, 12 ton or something, and
You better tell me the.
Yeah. so it's like $8 or $9 a load.
More.
Yeah, right. So it's not a huge amount.
A 10 wheeler can carry that much.
Anyway, that's the road report.
Um,
You want that?
Yeah, you went a little fast.
did he say anything about the new truck?
He did not.
I have a quote for a new truck. Is that what you're
No.
looking for?
One, we're supposed to be getting.
Upcoming. In Brandon.
Are we in possession of the loader?
I think so. I didn't ask him that, but I thought I saw the back end of a new loader sitting there. This wasn't that supposed to come last?
Yes.
Didn't ask? Yeah.
Did we, I noticed in those minutes. Did we give approval for the extra 0.2 mile to pay?
Yes.
We did. Yeah.
You make a motion, I guess.
You didn't make one?
He said. Discussed it, but that's not working. Straight down the bottom.
You're probably right.
I think that, yeah, I think that you just kind of, you had approved those.
The previous 2 miles, so
And then you're
just like,
yeah.
Oh, clearly found
extra
extra money.
money in the surplus.
So you want
I make a motion, we pay that extra 2 miles, right? Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's anything.
Oh, traffic.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Switch it on.
The total's 2.2.
Yes. And so Rodney, I told him that, so he's alerted Mike to that fact, so.
Great.
Rick, I assume you're here about your issue?
Yeah,
Road,
well, yeah,
related.
if you wanna hear it.
I guess you're here, you might as well.
Alright, well, I'm a little disappointed that we're gonna miss Rodney, cause I had a couple questions that I wanted to give to Rodney, but he ain't here. But I'm gonna ask the select board the same question. And you guys, like Rodney, he's in charge of the road crew, right?
Mhm.
You guys are in charge of Rodney, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you guys, and I think I'd rather have an answer from each one of you than one speaking for all of you, is you understand what happened at my place a week ago,
No,
I haven't heard.
nothing, I know nothing about it.
What if you
okay?
tell us?
Well, the roadside mower get into the lilacs again and really get into the maple trees. Matter of fact, smashed one of them, broke a great big chunk out of it. And I talked to,
The trees at the end of your driveway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right on the lawn, splinters everywhere, even got splinters in the palm, that's, but. This is the third year now. In a row that I've complained about this, because I don't believe they need that kind of trimming. I even took the loppers and trimmed the maple trees as Rodney asked me. On my own. Now, when trucks go up and down by. I don't get a bunch of leaves or anything coming off them because they're in the road. Especially the lilacs. Okay. The only time. That something catches those trees. Is when Brent Lindstrom goes up by with his flail mower. And I know other people on the road. Have said the same thing, cause every time he goes up through, he makes sure he catches the trees with his equipment. Which doesn't make sense, but that's what he does. Okay, so my question to you three guys. Why did this happen? I'll start with Brian, how many jobs?
I don't know what happened.
No, I'm asking, why did this happen after this is the third year in a row,
Ask me,
alright?
to keep the branches from slapping the trucks in the winter time.
That's your only answer,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Oh, Jim was going through with the mower and he decided to trim the trees. That's why, I don't know why he decided to do that on that particular day.
Alright, now, you. If you're gonna go and do that in only a couple places in town. Why don't you do it through the whole town? Why don't you do everybody's tree? Would you like to do that?
they just did my trees over on my side,
Well, I don't even know where you live,
I know,
but you know where
but
I,
that's part of the town,
but you know where I live.
yes, I do.
You know, I know the last time, one of the times I was here, well. I wasn't here, I don't think, but Rodney was talking about your roadside mowing and it looked like a war zone, but they got the brush. Do you think anybody wants it to look like a war zone in front of their house? On their lawn?
Okay, so we just let all the trees grow up the road and the trucks go up, we smash mirrors off. We buy new mirrors, we buy new windshields. That's what we're supposed to do.
No. But you could
Well, what
do,
are we supposed to do then?
well, all right, let
You
me,
got answers
long,
for everything?
yeah, I do.
Yes, you do.
I don't know why you're being so arrogant about it. But you've got a $600 to $700 pole saw, brand new, down in the town garage, right? Why don't you use that in selective cutting? Like that. You don't wanna go and smash somebody's tree on their lawn, just because you think it's,
How long would it take to go down Kelsey Mountain Road with a one saw?
nobody said you had to do the whole mountain or the whole road. But you seem to think that that's what you should do, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is another question I got for you three. I'm getting a little upset. When Jim came out, busted that down and I went out there. He apologized and apologized. And I said, well, what the hell are you doing? You know what he said? I'm doing what I'm told, Rick. I'm just doing what I'm told. Now, if he's told to go up there and cut my trees all up, why didn't he touch Randy Chapman's trees on his lawn? They're hanging out in the road just as much, if not more, than mine. And when I went over and talked to you that morning, right after that happened, I came around the hill and he didn't touch any of Randy's trees. The next day, he come back up and he cut three or four of his trees at the end towards Muller's place, the brick place.
Who did,
Jim
okay,
was the mower.
yeah,
He got into those trees, shattered limbs all over. He didn't touch the limbs of the trees that are hanging out in the road down by the cemetery on either side. I stopped and talked to Randy about that because I said, the word is gonna get back to you that I said something to you about why didn't you touch those? You didn't touch those. And then he comes around the next day and then he gets into them. So I wanted Randy to know, because I told you, I did not want him to go down there and touch those trees.
so what did Randy say?
Well, he would have been pissed too. He didn't even realize.
Yeah.
That they got him up there. He didn't do it in front of his house. But what I'm trying to say is, why would you think, if you put yourself in my shoes, why wouldn't I feel targeted?
I don't know, but I think we need to tell Rodney to stay away from your trees, or tell Rodney to tell Jim, for sure. That won't cure the problem now.
No,
but
no.
It'll cure.
And luckily, it's not as bad as it sounds. Yeah, but whether the tree survives may be another thing.
Yeah.
But when he's complaining about his mirrors and stuff being broken, scratched up or whatever. Everybody goes up and down by them. Like I said, you don't have leaves falling off the truck because they're behind the truck because the leaves are in the road. They all get worn from the wind and everything, and they don't grow that much. If they do need trimming, something like that, like these here in front of the church or whatever down through here, you would use a pole saw. You wouldn't take that thing up there and smash everything and have it all.
Mhm.
In my opinion, that's what you should do. But I tried to trim them back myself. But apparently it wasn't good enough.
Well, I'll speak to Rodney about that and make sure it doesn't happen again. And if they do need to be trimmed, we'll speak to you first.
Alright. That's all I want. I want, I know everybody thinks that I got $1 million mansion up there. There's not that much money in it. It's a lot of elbow grease. There's not too many people who have a lot of elbow grease. But that's all what it is. And I know of at least a couple other properties in town. Their lilacs got hit too. And they didn't think they were in the road enough either to be run over with that thing. I don't know how many others. And while I'm here. The hard pack and the granite. You're saying now that you're gonna start using some granite or hard pack in certain roads. Like I told you, what you did on the spring road. Was basically a waste of money. In my opinion. Right? You put that stuff down. You left spaces that didn't have any. The road, the ditches are full. And when you go to clean those ditches, you're gonna mix it in with your granite. You know, that granite where it was put down, held up really well. Unbelievably well, in my opinion. I think you could have used a little more chloride, or you wouldn't have so much stone out on the edge. I remember Rodney telling me, did you see the chloride truck go up by? Well, he was spreading water. He said, no, it was chloride. Well, it was diluted chloride. So it's water. Right? It has to be chloride. And then PAC. I'm not an expert, but I know you three ain't an expert either. I want to see more of that granite or the Lebanon stone from where they left off up above my place. I don't like the dust and I don't like the mud. And I'm paying enough taxes that and there's a way of doing it so you don't have to have that. We've had it for years. We didn't have that kind of mud. And the other thing, you know, the solar thing that you got down there. I'm okay with that. I think a lot of town people are okay with that. To me, in the sand pit probably ain't the most efficient place to put it. But the reason that you're putting that in is to cut down cost of electrical bill for the town, right? That's the reason, right?
Part.
Okay, well, what's the other reason?
Climate change is happening, and the town is getting on board with mitigating climate change. Major issue, but it's great that we're producing some of our own energy here, being pretty independent about it.
Okay, but the main reason that I was told was to cut costs on the electric bill. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Why are you laughing? What do you think is funny?
You've been telling us stuff all night.
Are you listening?
Oh, yeah.
I know these two, but I don't know you.
That's the word you said.
Huh?
I wouldn't miss the word you said.
Yeah.
What's your last point, Rick?
When I went down and see Rodney at the garage week before Memorial Day. There's nobody there. So I checked, I went in the garage and hollered, there's nobody in there. To get back to the lights. Every light in that garage, every light, including the bathroom, and the bathroom fan was off. the furnace was running full tilt. You know what the thermostat was set at? 76 degrees. Yeah, it was warm when you opened the door.
Yeah.
Like, and then you turn around and you're standing there. And you can look right outdoors between the overhead door and the frame. I think we could button that up. I mean, that's gonna lose a lot of heat in the winter time. I mean, you could see right outdoors.
Mhm.
So you talk about wasting money. And I also. There was a 4-wheeler in there with the hone on it. One of the fenders is banged up. I guess a branch caught it.
No, truck caught it.
So, well, anyway. I opened the door and I looked inside the truck. You couldn't see the floor mat. Too much dirt and dust and papers on the floor.
Mhm.
The truck also, with the home, it looked like it must have taken a pile of hardtack and tried to mow it over. There was hardtack tacked on top of that home all the way to the frame. Now that stuff going down the road on that thing is gonna fall off, chip cars, break windows and everything out. But that kind of tells you how the trucks are taken care of. They're never washed and polished. The grader sits outside. So, I think that we should be trying to save the town taxpayers some money. And I know that one of you probably thinks that's a little funny, but
Sure. Well, we'll speak to Rodney about that.
well, I think. You should, and then I got one other thing. Rodney says. And don't get me wrong, I could care less whether you hire my son's truck or not. So when he's going around town and telling everybody he's too expensive. And only comes up with the reason that he's expensive is because he charges to and from work. And he does not charge going back home, only to work. And gave you a break on that. You guys offered him $120 an hour. He didn't ask for it. That's more than he was getting for his triax. The point I'm trying to make is you're paying $120 an hour for 10-wheelers that only haul 12 yards compared to his 17 yards. Am I not right?
I don't know what you're saying, Chuck.
No, but I'm saying you paid $120 an hour for a triaxle that hauled 17 yards. And you were paying $120 an hour for a truck, a 10-wheeler that only hauls 12 yards. There's a big difference. But he's the one that's expensive. You know, he could care less whether you hired him or not, he's busy. But you guys are the ones that are spending our tax dollars. You should be able to get a better deal.
We'll look into who hauls what, now, because I'm
Well-
sure they have generally haul 15 yard.
I'll tell you right now, I don't think Loftus or Benson can haul 15 yards without being overloaded, and they don't even have a 15-yard body.
Okay, well, like I said, I'll check into it, see.
Okay,
All right, well, thank you, Rick. We gotta move on. There are a lot of people
all right.
here.
Sorry. But it did upset me.
Yep.
I don't appreciate that guy's. Yeah.
All right, we'll speak to Rodney about your issues.
And then the other thing is, he didn't come up, you know, Jim knew, I'm sure they talked about it at the garage. Nobody come and said nothing or even come and look at it,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, well, I looked at it when I went live.
Thank you.
Yep, take care. We'll get my lookers out so I can see what's next. These, Conservation Commission new member appointment.
Yes.
This
On
is
a
the-
lighting
the
night.
upload.
This is Linda Clark, and do you know all this?
I don't
Gary
think I-
Mullen,
I know.
Mike Petrie.
I don't think I, met
Lives
you.
on the other
From the
side.
wrong side.
Yeah, from the front side, no.
And John O'Brien.
I,
And, Linda's come to probably 4 or 5 meetings of our meetings or more.
How often do you meet?
We meet once a month.
Yep.
And we took a vote the other day to ask if she would come on. Remember? Yeah, we're not fully.
Okay.
We do. And she's accepted, and perhaps she'll tell you, introduce herself, tell you.
Well, I'm Linda Clark, I've been here for. Since 1980, but my husband's family, you know, the Angels, lived here, 1800s, something. Anyway, and Rogers, you're. Yes. Possible, yeah.
Is he getting used to that title yet?
I don't know, we gotta give him that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we raised our kids here and then I taught over in the Braintree School area with Randolph. Kindergarten through 3rd grade. After the election, I wanted to do something to contribute. But, things were just too big, but I thought, okay, we're gonna concentrate in the town. And whatever I can do in the town to help out. So my passions, nature, conservation, trying to, you know, raise awareness with the young kids to get them to appreciate nature and be outside. So I thought conservation committee would be the best suited place for me if they, you know, if they needed help. I'm just getting to know all of the projects that you're all into, and I went on a walk, the vernal pool with Rudy, and you know, I've been on a bird walk, and so I'm starting to know a whole different side of town.
Yeah.
Really, it's like, oh, we have 2 town forests. You know, I'm feeling kind of naive about it's happening.
I think you should get together with the Conservation Commission and the Forest Committee and the school and take kids to our town forest.
Yeah, I think that's on that.
Yeah.
It will work.
Eliza Minucci is
Yeah.
very active with that, but yeah, we have some planned outings this summer.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how I can help out with the green up day.
Yep.
Kind of feeling my way.
Well, good.
So we'd ask that you. Appoint.
Oh, someone ought to make that a point.
I make a motion that we appoint Linda Clark to the conservation.
second.
Right, all in favor of Mike's motion, who say aye? Aye. Unanimous.
That was easy.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Are those open-ended or they're?
We've got them staggered now.
Like terms?
It's been 2 to 4 years. I think once we get everybody on, they'll be. Cool.
I'm not being on it.
Right now, we've got, I think we've got 8 and we're allowed none.
And where, can you list the 8?
Yes, there's myself, Evan Reese, Eliza Minucci. Us.
Which is
Tess Mix,
Yep.
Cheryl Metcalf. Brian Kellberg is probably the most recent. He's on with him. And Malia.
No, no.
So that's
right.
So how many is it? But I think, yeah.
Seems like a good group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very good. Well, and. Enjoy. Yeah, the arrangement.
Well, as long as you're here, what are your plans, or do you have any plans for the immediate future?
For our walks, we're gonna do a moth. Yeah, so since Evans, at Fledgling Farm, and that festival's coming up, and
Yeah, but.
Fledge Fest.
August 23rd.
We're going to plant a moth. Cheryl has a moth light that attracts moths at night onto a sheet. And she's gonna do a moth talk. Because we figured that it would be late enough there as part of the festival on that Friday night.
Yeah.
I'm talking, I'm talking about moths, not like the moth, like Ted.
Right.
Take your life story. Yeah, there's a lot of different things.
There you
in
go.
moths, And.
Yeah, right.
One thing that they do another.
And then
Base.
the what?
The basics.
Yes, we're doing
Oh,
an
wow.
basics workshop, and that was something Peter Hayden, when I see it's on it. Has helped us arrange with Red Start. So we can have.
I think kind of coupled with the school, the Tunbridge school,
Yes,
to raise awareness. At the Tunbridge school of what the basics are
Yeah.
out on the playground, because the library is a nature studies.
Right.
So just to be able to involve the kids with the community. Eradicate them.
Right, that's good.
or at least being able to identify how to best control.
What's pretty neat, sometimes have kids pester parents to do the right
Yeah.
thing.
Right. And then we'll have another river cleanup in September, right? That's been 6 months.
The signage on the true lots and things.
Yep. Yeah, Eliza's working with the kids. And we're gonna have some kind of interpretive signs
Uh-huh.
at the town forest.
Yep.
Wildlife. Or, we haven't got really involved in the Drew lot because it was logging, and we did have an outing. Did you go to that?
Yes, yeah, we walk way up on them.
Eventually we'll
Yeah.
probably get.
Well, good, thank you very much. Thank you for your enthusiasm.
So you have room for one more?
Yeah, and actually my term is up in the fall and I'm thinking of stepping back, so that will be an office. And in this fall.
Peter.
Yeah,
He has been coming to our meetings, considered, so.
he doesn't step back.
One thing that we're, I think we're gonna have on the agenda for this next meeting is to vote whether to, allocate some of our funds from the Conservation Commission to the trail maintenance.
Right.
Yeah. And, I understand that there's some hesitation to use town funds for that project, but I don't think that the Conservation Commission funds would be considered town funds, because that's monies that we've raised and separate donations from the ABC.
What's the balance?
I think it's over $3,000, so. Yeah, we can do our updated report from the treasurer, but we're gonna put that on the agenda to discuss it. And then if we do approve those monies, then it's turned back to you to approve. Give a final approval for that transfer of funds, but. I know there was some work done on Orchard,
Yep, that's great.
legal trail,
So,
Is that?
and I don't know if it's completed or not, or whether we're
At least
waiting
that
to
section.
see. If we need to do more
right,
in that wet spot. So I don't know whether they've sent a bill or what I don't even know really what final estimate was.
Yeah,
done, Sean.
we might have a bill here.
I asked Mariah the other day at a village.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. So that would make a difference on how much we decide to allocate towards that. But how much has been raised already and how much is needed.
It went really well on. Shorter than expected.
Yeah. Yeah, so. And I will say going forward, if there's more work to be done on the other legal trails, I think we could solicit volunteer from Tunbridge to do some of that. And that would save some money from hiring them to do it. But I think there's enough interest in town to. And I don't know whether we'll address the crossroad this year, or push that up, do like one a year or something, but I know Gary, you did say that you might be able to do some of that.
Yeah.
So, so if that's all good, that saves the time and public money. For
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those minutes, I think it was what, 3,000 something for the crossroad.
Yeah, something, yeah.
And we'll tell you what he said.
No,
He said he was not gonna make bungalows over and flatten that out.
there you
All
go.
wagons across.
So we have a volunteer with a bulldozer, we can get it done.
What was this?
That angel.
So maybe, if you do get a bill before our meeting is the first Thursday. Just so we know, and maybe I should. Contact Becky though, because I believe there's other funds that have been allocated. Or have been given to that,
Okay,
but I don't know the.
right.
We need to.
Well, we just started a trails. Done.
Yeah.
So they can take donation.
Right.
And do we know what's in that? Plan?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And possibly have, we have to pay for the Trails Alliance for the work they did.
Right.
Made them outstanding numbers. I don't know if I'm getting those,
Yeah, I don't either.
at least, I guess, right, but. I don't know if the conservation. Commission funds would go straight in, Becky probably could just. transfer
Into that trail.
Into that trail.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, so it's a paper trail.
I think that just a paper trail.
Right, yeah.
But I think we still need your.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's what-
yeah.
All right, sounds like you're busy.
Thank you, yes, we are. Are we dismissed?
Yes.
Yes.
You can stay or you can leave.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Betsy or Todd, are you gonna see Sean anytime?
Not directly, so.
Okay. No, I just went down to look at the bridges in this club. I don't know.
Oh.
You
I wasn't sure if it was part of the work crew or.
Yeah,
It
so
was.
as I looked all over.
That's.
Well, somebody found it, and put it on the bridge, and I thought,
Oh.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You're welcome. Most of my gloves don't look like that.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Rest of the meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Man, we're only 4 minutes late. All right, Kirk, you're up next.
All right. Well. Go on.
Step right around and take a comfy chair.
Thanks.
Sorry,
We have a technical issue.
I just realized this wasn't on the owl, it was just on the laptop,
Oh, that's why it's so funky.
so it just looks like this.
Gabrielle, Gabby, who's the student working on some of the solar stuff.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, so, couple things. The array's up and running, which is great.
No,
It worked?
Yeah, they put it up quickly and
Yeah.
Green Mountain Power put their pole in and connected it, so. Right now it's powering the garage, so that, and we're gonna fill out paperwork and. It's gonna start to send money to, town hall and town offices. Starting tomorrow,
Yeah.
so that's good, Now. We're gonna kind of overlap with Mary Ann a little bit, but issues, but, when we did the agreement with Amos, did a great job. We put in the agreement that. I think he had bid $45,000 for the array. He had like a $40,000 grant, and we were gonna get the rest from, federal government. They paid for 30% of the project cost, but that comes later. And we put in the agreement that he's gotta wait for the extra 6,000 for probably till a couple months into 2026.
What?
But,
If ever, right?
well, we think that even if they pass that bill, we're gonna get the paperwork in like in the next couple days, so we'll be good on this. That being said, we had chatted briefly and. Given that he's done such a nice job, and I don't know what the town budget looks like. Whether or not you wanna just pay him out in full, we're still gonna get the money and get you guys reimbursed. But it's up to you. Technically, he signed the agreement and he knows he could have to wait, but given, you know. Contractor did his job, and it's up to you whether or not you wanna dip into. Which miscellaneous fund to pay him out, about a $6,000.
$3,000. So we were approved for 43,370.
Oh, okay, so it's only 3, so the grant was for 43 plus, and he did came in at 46, so, which is right around what he estimated, so. That's one discussion, and then the other thing we would like to do, which is on a similar application, we're gonna make the federal government. Is try to recoup, and we would never, if we don't get it, we're fine working pro bono, but we're gonna ask them for. Some reimbursement for some clinic work, which we think. Is probably around $4,000, but again, if for some reason we don't get it from them. We're good, we didn't anticipate getting paid. But it's a good exercise for them to go through. Applying to treasury for something like this.
Can you add that on then to the federal limit?
Yeah, so
It's not built in as.
it's
like-
part of the project costs, so the project cost would go up to like 50. And we would apply for, they're not gonna give us 30% of 50. If you get a state grant, what they'll give you is the difference between, if it's lower, the difference between the state grant. And the project cost, so we didn't apply for like $7,000, and. You get what you get, we get what we get, and should be pretty simple, and it's how the world has operated for the last 3 years. So we had a quick amendment to our whole engagement agreement, just saying that we were gonna, and we'd be happy to do it, we've never done it. So I think we can do it in the name of the town, and it might be easier. And. Working with Marianne or the treasurer and. Having them get the emails and forwarding them to us and all that junk, but this just gives us authorization to do what I just said. So if you wanna look at, I mean, I have a couple copies, I don't know. It just amends what we did last time.
So you need town approval then to apply for that?
I mean, yes, I'm not that picky, I mean, if you guys say go ahead and do it, I'd be fine with it too. It's just that it's the paragraph. The second paragraph in quotes is the only change, it's just saying. We're gonna apply for funds for the clinic, and we're also gonna apply for anything. Any project costs above and beyond what the state grant allocated, so. I'm pretty easy, if you guys just said go ahead and do it, I'm good with that too.
Just don't.
But again, we put in there, like, we're not asking the town for, it's just if we can get project costs back and legal fees are.
So you're gonna use our name?
It has to be in the town's name, we can't do it because the town owns the projects, and we would keep, probably Marion in the loop on every filing, and we wouldn't, there's nothing to do. It's like doing your taxes, we can't do anything for 2025 until January 1st, 2026. We can pre-register, but most of the paperwork is still 6 months out, so. You got time if you wanna.
Nothing to do with that, but why do you do things pro bono, just so the students learn and.
Yeah, engagement,
Yeah.
student activity, they have clinical requirements they've got to fulfill.
Yeah.
And just because of the Inflation Reduction Act, which is probably not gonna be, this probably won't be around much longer. Because of the tax bill that's been circulating, we're gonna do this for a couple of projects in New Hampshire we did, and this one and a few others, and just see if we can. Maybe it'll come back, but, yeah, it's, I mean, it's one thing to get. Paid from the federal government, we do a lot of low income community work in New Hampshire, then ask them, so it's just, it's an easier.
Mhm.
Thing to ask. Funds our fellows and. Things like that, people coming in to do similar work, so. But yeah, I guess it's up to you guys on whether or not you wanna work over the extra. What is about 3,500 or so for Amos, or whether you wanna make him wait.
We'll just front it, right, we get that.
Yeah, you'll get it back. I'm very confident. I'm confident everyone will get their money back. It's anything in the tax bill is like the day it's signed. There's like a either 180-day or 60-day window to get things in, and we're gonna get pre-registration in tomorrow. So you'll be locked in, but there will be interest. Yeah. And the thing's gonna produce. What is
Yeah, I
it?
was gonna ask you, what, the first one was how many kilowatts?
3, and now we're up to 15, total.
Must have gone.
3 kW, the first one,
Was just three?
the little one, yeah.
Oh, really?
This one, it'll produce about,
Well,
yeah, well, we actually use an expansion, so it's just one bigger one. I think it's called 2,500 a year, and electric savings will come between the garage and these two buildings, so.
between the two, we're over 15.
Yes, we had to stay right around 15 because of some weird, as soon as you get over 15. Then you gotta call a surveyor, then you gotta call an environmental consultant, then you gotta do notices, and it becomes this $25,000.
Yeah.
Development activity, but keeping it at 15 was like. One form, super simple, and it fit the grant perfectly, so it's just
Great.
yeah.
You know how many, what our energy demands are for garage and these two municipal buildings?
Yeah, in dollars. The. Offices were around 1,300 a year. Maybe more now, and the town hall is about 1,000. And we just got the garage built today. And we were looking at the usage there. I was surprised that one thing. We noticed was that. The winter months, they had extremely high electricity usage. Is that because they have electric heat or something?
They leave the heat on all the time.
Okay, it's electric.
But they have, no, but they're opening and closing the doors,
The heating outdoors.
and they're bringing the trucks in.
But this is just the electric bill then.
Are they plugging the trucks in though?
No.
The diesel
No.
trucks?
I don't know why, maybe it was an aberration, or maybe it's just because,
Well, the furnace would be running.
yeah,
What was the year?
I don't know the dollar amount, but when you, so the way it works, it's a little clunky, but. The garage. The way I think it works is the garage is gonna use the power directly, it's what you call behind the meter, so they're gonna use what they use, and then in the excess. We're gonna divide between these two
Instead of
buildings.
that meter, right, you.
Kind of a, where you're gonna net meter, but there, it's kind of a blend.
Yeah.
And so we had to look at their bills to figure out how much we were gonna send out to these two buildings. When we looked at the garage bills today, we were like, whoa. There's a little chart on page 2, you can see their
Right.
usage, and in January, February, it was like up here. At like 1,800 kilowatt hours, and then it dropped, and then when the solar came on, it dropped to, 3 kW was contributing a drop, but we couldn't figure out why. But the solar doesn't really operate in the winter, so we just kind of brush that off.
Wait, so those numbers you were just giving, the 13 and were those dollars?
Dollars, yeah, because we're generating. Whatever we generate about. We generate about 17,000 kilowatt hours, and the state. Credits 15 cents a kilowatt hour, so when you multiply 17,000 by 15 cents, it's like 2,500. And so on year 2, on the town hall and the town offices, we're actually just putting cash credits on your bill, it's not a kilowatt hour, I think it's like we're gonna put. 55% on this building, 45% on that, and there's just cash. The garage is just a little different because that's what I was gonna do, right? It's. But I don't know why, yeah, I don't know why they were high, maybe it was a weird couple months, of electricity usage, but.
And it looks like the garage will be
Sure.
$5,000
For the year.
for the year.
Which is a lot, that's by far and away the most
Was
of
it
the town.
big, Mary?
Close to 5,000 if I'm doing my math right.
Sounds right. What about the other two?
Yeah, I don't even think, we had to limit, the grant for these two buildings, so we're gonna. We have to instruct you not to use much of the garage, it's just they need the original 3K, building stays with them, and we'll push everything else out to these two buildings. It's actually where probably that's, yeah, but it's just save money for the town.
I make the motion that we have. Plan, engaging, breaking. Along, graduate school institute for energy and then whatever.
Okay with me?
To allow them to. You describe it to.
To allow us to apply for, what we call, it's called elective pay. Under the Inflation Reduction Act to get the town their. Remaining project costs back that were. Covered by
Not
that.
all, yeah.
I'll try to be slow.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, I saw that, I was like,
I think that.
All right, Sean, all in favor of Blake's motion, say aye. Aye. So you got that part.
We wanna make a motion for Amos getting. It's my,
I do, because he's a local guy and small
done a
company.
great job, yeah.
I make the motion that we pay him, $3,000.
What's this company called?
integrity.
I'll take it, it's right there.
Integrity.
46,460. 46,460. Total amount.
With the 3,000 that he's supposed to get.
With the
I think the
6,000.
grant was what, 43,000?
43,340.
Okay.
So what's the amount we're actually gonna vote on?
So I would ask you to just pay the full invoice. It's gonna be really hard for me to reimburse for the grant if you withhold the 6,000 that we can withhold of the 3,000. So I don't wanna.
Pay the
I
whole
want you to pay
invoice.
the
I make a
entire
motion,
invoice.
pay the whole invoice
To integrity.
to integrity. Hold on.
I think.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
We'll get you the money back, we promise.
That's all promise.
You guys have any interest in doing some car chargers out front here? So we can get some money from the state and the feds.
Yeah, we talked about that once, we were afraid it was gonna.
There's a brief,
Flood up the parking lot.
yeah, we'd have to check with charge room, there seems like there's a brief window to do some things.
Well, the money is away.
Yeah. That one is the one like.
There are two parties down at the Tunbridge Channel Store, the younger John piece.
Yep.
And then, Hank Joseph, that both expressed interest, John would a while ago. Kurt knows that I had touch with them, so if this were to need some traction, chances are the charger that came to be would be down there at the larger parking lot, that actually is owned by Hank Joseph.
Oh, so you going it across the street?
From the general
So
state.
you park.
There's no parking down there.
Yeah.
There's a way, we have to look into it deeper, but it's like, some of the funding is limited to, like multifamily affordable right now. They're kind of restricting the other funding for.
You have
Yeah.
to say
Gavin's looking at-
municipal land.
What's the other funding? Is it like public
So there's.
Public attraction or
Yeah,
something?
public attraction. We're looking into that for the general store. But it had like,
Yeah,
yeah, certain stipulations, like the parking lot had to be within 500 feet of the area and stuff, and especially with the general store, the parking lot across the street was really small. And then the other parking spot, it had like signs that said private property, so trying to figure out like. If those neighbors would be willing to maybe allow us to use that area, because it's also closer and stuff, but. Yeah, just doing research on that,
a lot of multi-unit funding is a lot. That's more available right now. And then workplace funding, there's a lot of weird questions that, we're still trying to get, but from, what I've read, for workplace, it would only be for employees. And so, yeah, and so like what entitles, like, what is a workplace? Like, is the general store a workplace, or, so, just trying to figure those things out.
I don't know if it would impact you or not, but remember this town, this is a historic district.
Yeah,
So,
maybe,
like,
I mean, maybe the public, yeah, we have to see, I don't know, it's the public, what they call. Public attraction, what is it, public,
Yeah, public attraction,
public attraction funding, like the fairground might be.
that might be better,
Yeah,
yeah.
if there's money there.
You know, and there's a annual fair stipend too, so you might be able to piggyback on that.
Yeah, and if we, this stuff we're gonna do for you, where we go for money from the feds, we would do for that too, just under a different portion, so, and that, we gotta move quickly just because. That's on the chopping block,
Yeah.
it's,
That kid
The
for
electric-
economic
electric
development,
cars.
sound like Tunbridge,
Yeah.
had, you know.
we could get some state funding, a little bit of that,
Yeah.
apply for this and we get free chargers, you know, a couple
I
levels.
noticed. There's like a capital stipend and then an operating stipend, and the fair has done a lot of electrical work, I mean, they did invest in like last year, but I think this year Matt was doing like lots of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's no, people could park and walk up here and go. to the
Yeah.
store and- Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to, I got 2 copies, you wanna sign them now, or if you wanna,
I'm signing now.
yeah, I'll sign it. You mind if I sign one, I'll take a copy, you guys take a copy?
Yeah.
You are clients, we are clinic,
Okay,
I don't know what I am, I'll just call myself Explorer or something.
Are you a lawyer?
Not a Vermont one, but hold on. I'll leave it blank for now, and I'll give you on it, I'll trade you, perfect, that's. If we can't do this, Marion, if we've got to do it through the town, should we just use you as the contact, all right?
I have your signed copy, Gary, so I can scan it.
Yeah.
That's good, it is did a great job, it's super smooth, like, we couldn't believe it when we went out to visit it, and he was, done, it was like perfect timing, it's about, yeah.
Great.
Well, thank you.
sunshine's all
Yeah.
done too.
Yeah, and it's a good spot for it. I know there's a little dust kick up, but that just flies right off.
It rains.
Yeah.
The last 2 days, it must have been a lot of.
Yeah, must have really ruined
Yeah,
the meter.
I know, we were
Does
laughing.
he make it actually, you know, when it's 100 versus 60, does it make a difference?
I don't know, I just did a really extreme heat, like rooftop PV in like Arizona, when it gets really hot, actually degrades.
Really?
But I don't know if it makes it more productive around here.
Does it degrade the panel?
Yeah. And the production, it goes down actually, if it's like 140 on the
Yeah,
roof and there's.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It rides 140.
Probably.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll let you know about the charger stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get you one of that. 3,000, yeah.
Come on, here, good, thank you. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What's
Sure.
your last name? Give the law.
Sure.
I read that. G O
Oh, here.
B O Y.
Yeah.
Very good coffee.
Yeah, someone. Stand up for a second. Dave, where are you? Oh, I know, you're next.
There's no place to.
You can sit right next to Mariah now. You see Bob's on the TV. Hi, Bob. He can't speak, but that's okay.
There we go. I had to unmute. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So let Dave be your spokesman.
No, Bob will jump in. So, but I start. Well, South Roxton Rescue, just an update, we're fully staffed, I'm bringing Bill, have a new administrator since December, but he was approved before that, my interim. And it's doing great, so everything is smooth, we have raised all or almost all. Money for those.
Good for you.
Which is how much?
1.35 million.
How easy was that?
I say it all the time. We just got a grant that we can disclose for donation
Huh?
of 250,000 this week.
Good for you.
Make that public
Yeah.
very soon.
Yeah.
Another 10,000. Gave it, $250,000. Like the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put you over the top.
Puts us there, puts us there, you know, depending on bids, we're working with the USDA on this congressional designated spending, and the USDA in Vermont, New Hampshire had, I think, 10 employees. And they fired 7 or 8.
Oh,
Yeah, part of cutbacks.
yeah.
So, they're working with us, they're communicating with us, but it's slow.
Is that NRCS? That's the vision of, it's the,
Well, it's rural development. Oh, yeah, rural development. So they're in charge of processing the grant. That's the slowest part. We have, most recent estimate we have is from December, just matches the number.
Yeah.
Gave you for architects for building and all the permits and everything, so. I think we're in good shape.
so you have engineers, architects lined up, or?
Oh, yeah, we hired Jay White out of Burlington to do it. We have Rob Townsend out of,
Williamstown.
Williamstown. Yeah, he's doing site work.
Yeah.
He's, actually, he developed our Act 250 amendment application, which went to the Burlington Select Board on Monday for their signature. And, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's all good. It's all forward.
So when are you gonna have a building?
I'd love to break ground this year.
Oh,
I would love it. I don't know. It's all up to the USDA right now.
right,
We have to follow the rules for putting it out for bid.
right.
You know, this for all the work you do.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it surprised me. I thought maybe you'd say next year or something. No, you want it
I said, I
yesterday.
hope,
Yeah,
That 1.35 doesn't get you it. That's right now, right?
right.
and we started out, I think. 3 years ago with the estimate of 860.
Yeah.
Wow, and then they came in for the building itself at 1.1.
Yeah.
In December, and then you add on the architect, the
Right,
permits and all that stuff, and it becomes a real number.
yeah.
What do you know it? So, that's where we are.
Well, pretty exciting.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's great. Yeah, it's a good team.
Where's the building gonna be placed? Out
It's-
behind the police station?
No, in front,
Oh.
right in the parking lot where they park the school buses.
Oh,
now.
nice.
Yeah, they're right there. It looks very much like the town office. It's the same architect, so.
Yeah.
I look at the renderings of the building, something. Which building is that?
Yes, it's a campus.
Yeah.
There's a big garage on. Yeah, go there. So we have the 40-year plus 5 extension lease.
Yeah.
By 10-year extension lease from the town. They've been great.
Yeah.
For $1 a year.
Well, they might as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that was the architect's plan. He told him when he did that, the town office building. A good place for, emergency services building. And,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Future is that. I think they have 173 acres of land there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So. Lots of opportunities.
Sam did the town forest and stuff.
Yeah, town forest or sand pit, gravel pit. Yeah.
Does water ever, that'd be one concern, does water ever get up? What's there, so
Not
all
all
the,
that.
it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's. I know, I mean,
It is, and it comes up towards the building away from the river, so that's not a concern. So, our contract with the town expires in June 30th. And Gary insists that I always have a handout. Yeah, here it is. And we wrote this, and Sharon has always seen on this. The language is the same as the last 2 rounds. We haven't changed anything in it other than the rate and the. Mike? You look.
no, I'm just trying to listen, I don't hear as good as.
Oh, okay,
And
I'll do better. The language is the same, you just change the date, the beginning per capita rate of $7.43 is what's in the town budget.
What was the last year? A year ago.
67.13. So we went up, we came talking about it, but we had to make a raise, maybe because of the late.
Yes.
So what we're proposing is we start with the 70.43, which is in the current budget for FY26, and then hold the 5% for the next 2 years.
Okay, yeah.
Bob? Bob's muted.
No, that's Santa Claus, that's not Bob.
Probably making stew, but filling
I'm,
it.
I'm having trouble hearing everybody, so. What was the question?
There's no question, I don't think. Let me see if I can move this over.
Well, I was gonna say, I can hear you great now.
How- Does that work better?
Yes,
Okay.
I was just asking if you had anything to add to the things that you didn't hear.
no, other than my, inability to hear.
Always this motion, so.
That number's true for all double check. For Shannon.
It's for Sharon, Rosen, and just south of here.
Yeah.
You do all of Sharon, or is it just the
All in Sharon, there's 10 houses down near Hartford on some side of the road, but we don't cover because Hartford can access it. It's close to the faster, but
Yeah.
we have the rest of the town hall.
I make a motion that we sign the agreement between the town of Tunbridge and South Road Rescue Squad. Ambulance contract, July 1st, 2025, to carry this 2028.
Good job.
I second. Okay. I second the motion.
All right,
Can I ask? If the rate has to go up in the intervening 3 years, that's happened before, hasn't it?
Happened once.
Right now, how does that work? You come to Tunbridge and say, do you amend the contract?
Yeah, we come to you and make a case for the increase in why.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's some sort of language in here.
Yeah.
You second? Second. All right, all in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You got it.
Thank you. If I could get a signed copy, I'll have it. So they sign it. Get back to you. Pardon me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boy, I must be excited about the new home.
You know, if you're in our current rescue house, going with Joy's place tonight or last night, probably 130 degrees upstairs. It's not great. So, any other questions about this?
Last time you met, well, you were here, you said that calls were doing well and you were busy and things are going well, so.
Yeah, the calls are pretty constant at about 450 a year.
Yep.
And some of those are not billable, they're a lift assist or transfers. Or, you get there, somebody calls in and says, somebody slumped over the steering wheel. You have a car, you get there, and the car's gone. But that's about 450 a year.
And you were trying to do like the first branch and done with the visits, and home visits. Oh, good.
Yeah, we have some funding from Gifford.
Yeah.
to do that, and I think they have funding, Gifford, to do
Right.
the house calls.
Yeah.
So, we
It's
do
a
that.
good service to have.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work with Jody, we work with the town nurse and Sharon, I'm not sure.
That's if somebody falls down, or you just go and help them with their medicine.
It's more of a fall prevention, education, you can talk with them about their medication, if it's somebody that's chronically falling, you can get a call and go in and help them. Or they'll feed. Just, get up. Yeah, we do that.
don't know if you're gonna be able to do West Tunbridge pretty soon. I'm not following.
We could do that. Thank you. Just call us.
Okay.
We'll get you.
In anticipation,
You can do West Tunbridge.
but your staffing, that was the thing encouraging, and
Yeah.
that's some pretty good news. So that's
Tough. And
recruiting attention.
yeah, part of it was raising pay rates, which we'll have to do again, but we're budgeting for that. But it's just, I think the new administrator coming in and being more proactive about staffing, being more creative. So we have, I think, 22 people on the staff list, call on. And we also have, Vermont first responders. They're typically firemen who will take a shift, and they might be scheduled, or they might be on call, and there are 10 or so of those.
Yeah, but on the tool truck, yeah. I mean, Parker. He's on the fire department, I know he goes sometime on weekends.
Yeah.
On the ambulance.
Yeah, we've got one guy who was a beefer and then went to, went through the course and is an EMT now, basic EMTs. For some of that, but the cooperation between the Burlington Fire Department, is just great. Those meetings, Paul Brock is there, and he's just.
He's just gonna push you out the door too.
No, he's been great.
Yeah.
Fire department, great.
So if somebody wants to become an EMT, then are there trainings through Worldton Rescue or First Branch or?
No, we don't do those trainings first branch doesn't either, but there are courses
That are state run?
yeah. State certified, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they can go further and become an AEMT, AS, okay.
There's always a shortage.
And then they can do paramedic. We don't use paramedics much. Because we don't get much calls.
They're higher than EMT.
Yeah. It's a really, it's a lengthy course, many weeks, and then, got on the job training. Like, we don't get many calls requiring paramedic level.
What's that for, from more?
They get into this more drugs, different drugs, they can do more procedures than an EMT can do.
Like dark paramedics.
Yeah, but we can do a paramedic intercept, so we're heading out of Tunbridge to Hitchcock, and we get a paramedic, like we need one in Broad. And have them jump on the rate.
Oh,
We did not, and I did.
The right hand side.
Well, that's why I'm thankful that you're still on the job at South Road Rescue Day and you've been submitted for a lot of years now.
Yeah,
Has
probably about 13.
it been 13? Yeah. Yes,
That helps.
Yeah.
Bob's been on a lot.
Bob's been on for several years, yeah.
Who's the other member?
Pardon me?
Who's the other member?
John Turkey.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of experience there.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
How's the crew playing?
Good.
Kids, I see them
Yes,
outside.
they're, oh yeah, they love to be outside playing. They are good and busy.
Great.
It's fun.
Good night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, Bob.
I think she just went to print something. off.
Yep.
But in the meantime,
Indeed.
this is John Durkee's fire warden thing. He signed it, so he can just sign top.
The assistant firework.
Yeah, he, you already appointed him at the last meeting, so you just.
Yeah, so, all of us need to sign it?
I mean, I don't, if you want to, I have, I think only 2 of you signed,
There's other spaces.
yeah. John, you can sign this one as well, you didn't sign that one. And then this is the quote from Pike for paving. 1.2 miles at 3 inches. They want a signature.
for $261,800.
That's
That's scrap.
one plus the point two.
I believe so, yes.
It says right there, $1.2. With John Durkee being assistant fireman.
Was that Brenda's that I was?
Yeah. You're up, yeah. I have a schedule.
Oh. That's what we ordered. Oh. And send it over. Yeah, get it hosted here. Send it
No, you overload it, not the $8.95. Good, you guys know what you're talking about anyway.
Make a learn.
Yeah, I'm Brian, so.
All right, so I signed that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you need
Yeah.
a copy of this? Is this paving grant? I need to send this back to Pike, but do you need this estimate? I don't, no, we didn't. I'm gonna tell them that we did not get approved for that one, so. Okay, so I don't need to send this, I don't need it. All right, I need your signature. Do you need it then?
I keep it on file.
Do it, you want me to send it into them and say we're ready to do it, or no? Pike on it,
Is this for the 2.2?
Yeah,
this is on,
1.2.
okay,
1.1.
1.2 miles.
That was 2.2.
No. 1.2.
But we didn't get approved for the grant, but we're gonna do it out of our paving?
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's gonna take.
Because the 2/10 of a mile, we decided we had the extra money from this year,
Okay,
the cash. So we do, instead of 1 mile, we do 1.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm, I wasn't sending the Senate variance, like, we don't have any money for this.
No, Becky said we have the money.
Okay.
Where's those there?
So as we anticipated, we did not receive. With the denial that I would put on file that we did not receive the funding for the paving. We knew we weren't going to because they gave us a second grant to help finish off the Stratford Road slide 1. We pretty much knew we weren't getting it, but we were told to go ahead and apply just in case like someone else applied.
Yep.
Others applied, so we did not receive it. This is our approval to move forward. We did receive the structures grant, transportation structures grant for the culvert that we want to fix on Kibblin Hill, so that one is a go.
How much is that for?
This is usually like the 20,000, it's the like standard amount. That's the right one, I'll look, culvert on Kibblin Hill, culvert on Kibblin Hill. Don't quote me on the price, there's like. Sorry.
A replacement.
Yes, yeah, it's the ones that Rodney's working through, like we get the culvert assessment is done like every 3 years or whatever, we get a list of culverts that are undersized, don't meet the current standards. And every year we apply for grants to work, get them all upgraded, so that he's just working through his list.
Like the Fry Road one.
That's this one, man.
But that was to the.
Well, it's Kibblin Hill, but it's. Right.
Oh, I get it, nice.
It's the one I spoke of earlier.
Okay.
Gary, I need your signature on this one, this is for the village scoping, sidewalk scoping, grant. This is I believe, the final piece of paper we need to sign. To
For
submit
VHB?
reimbursement, what's that?
From the HB.
Yes, VHB.
I know, I said.
Final. And then similarly, I need you to sign this one, which is the final acceptance of the report that we got last week from VHB for the brick.
Well, they gave us a
Corridor,
draft, right, of the final.
we have the final. You guys sent that to your emails, did you see that?
I didn't see it.
Maybe not, maybe it's
Maybe I
sitting in
missed
my,
it.
maybe it's sitting in my outbox, we did not provide them with any, changes. So the final is gonna look exactly like the draft they sent, so we can send back any changes to be made. So this is the final acceptance of that report, so that I can submit the plan for that one. And I need to go review from my computer, because I don't want to get the words wrong, the Merck grant, the solar array was part of the work grant, the discussion we just had. The other part of that is all of that weatherization work. The heat pump, the weatherization, the LED lighting, et cetera, that was all part of that 255,000 for this building and the town hall building. If you remember, we contracted with Two Rivers to manage the process.
Yep.
They had originally put it out to bid, only received a bid for just the heat pump portion. They did not award it. They are working on going back out to bid, and that has been for a few months now. And so this week I called them up and was like, what is happening here? Like, I don't understand what's going
You were
on.
worried about the deadline.
Yes, and I'm still worried about the deadline. So I would say, well, one positive thing that's happened, which is that Kirk, who was just here with the solar array, he got engaged with this conversation and he's offered up the Vermont Law School to help Two Rivers to be able to see if he can move this forward. I don't know if he's helping them with like all of their towns, but he certainly has agreed to help them move the RFP forward for Tunbridge. Which is great, so, see if we can move that along. But when I asked them for an update today on sort of like why haven't you put it out to bid again, like what's happening? They replied back indicating. I'm just sort of like, I will read you because I don't really know. I'd asked them if we could have a call. I don't know what this means, but they said. That they had the official reports that we remember we had to have the audit of both buildings done. They had the official audit reports, for both buildings. But that did not include specifications for construction or ADA or historic assessments. Which are going to be required to move this work forward. We're working on completing those now and can put the RFP out again when that is done. So I don't have a timeline for when they intend to repost the RFP.
Seems to imply that they put the first RFP out without
Without-
the requirements that they now say are required.
Right. And I don't know, again, like, I really don't know where that's coming from, but I'm glad we contracted them to do this, because this would be a lot of. But on the other hand, like, it's really not moving forward yet. And so. They are well aware of the timelines. I just looked up again the other day. But. They are that the work has to have begun by 3/31/26, or we forfeit the funds.
Do it themselves.
Yeah,
Let's come.
put your hammer and nails out, John, it'll start.
What I don't
That might
know,
work.
what I don't know is if the fact that we've already done the solar array portion. If that counts as having begun, because it was part of our total grant includes both buildings and the solar array,
Yeah.
so we have begun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what that, sort of if that counts as begun, but it really.
Yeah.
I don't know that it helps us too much, because the other thing is that it has to be completed by 9/30/26. If not complete by 9/30/26, you have to submit proof that you are substantially done and will be done by 12/31/26. And all reports and reimbursement must be in by 12/31/26, so we're down to our last like 15 months.
We gotta get on it,
All-
because
That's all.
you gotta get somebody competent to do the work, and that's.
Yeah, so this one, but so part of the issue here is, remember, this one is a very complicated, which is why we hired Two Rivers, very complicated. Grant, there's USA made requirements, there's a number of provisions on who you can use, how many bids they've had to submit. It's just, this one is like not as easy as it sounds, and so Two Rivers is working through all those complications. I just wanted you all to be aware. I don't wanna miss this deadline, and I'm on Two Rivers about it, but I don't know. Like, they've gotta get the RFP.
Is it so complicated that nobody's gonna bid on it?
I hope not. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know,
Will it make sense for us to get somebody in the Rivers to speak about this and also cell phone tower? Lately, they see the river seems to be I'm not dropping the ball.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, so I mean, I absolutely, I would, you know,
We
the.
could ask them.
Do you have a contact at Two Rivers that you want to have come, Marianne, or do you? want to-
I would use Pete Fellows.
Okay,
I think he's the manager. Megan Ashbury is the one who I work with, who's assigned to like art, you know, for this project. But I believe she reports to Pete.
okay,
So if he comes and brings her with him, or she's on, or you can get on, but like, I feel like it's, you know, we should have him in addition.
okay, I'll invite them.
And then maybe for Michael's, I go find out who the contact of there is on that sort, if they got a public good stuff or something like that. That person was supposed to come to the hearing at home and show.
Nice.
Okay. I have more questions on that, you guys might, or should we say that?
No, please.
Sure. I just wondered if, did you see a report in the window of?
I haven't gotten any sort of notice. Yeah, because Michael asked me the same thing. He said, you know, can you let me know as soon as you hear?
Just that the clock.
That's it, yeah. Because then after, once they submit, then it's 30 days.
Yeah, but no, but you would be the first to know, right?
I don't know, why can we,
Well, I think they have to notify the town, I think,
okay,
because we're one of the approved parties
okay.
to respond.
Well, then,
We don't know what's out there. Yeah, you got 2 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You
Yeah.
missed the deadline.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I will do some digging.
Okay.
Has it been approved?
No,
No, they're gonna submit the licensure, right?
Right,
That for to the FCC, and once they do that, then it's only 30 days upon that. The use PUC. Yeah,
that's it. But right, there's like, when they do the engineering scoping. We've done it and applied, I think, for the whole thing. That was a certain amount of time. Right, like 60 days
60
or something.
days, yeah, from the time that they notified us.
Right. And the next stage is a 30-day response time that the town of Tunbridge is a party has standing and ask questions to the PUC, not too much the words, I guess. And then
Right.
after that, right, is I guess the approval period or PUC can request things from the builder to meet certain requirements or responses. But that's something that like Two Rivers, for example, would know, because they've done it to a lot of different towns.
Yeah.
But town clerk's certified, yeah, right. So lots of we're not in there.
Not that I'm aware.
might be by the time we have another meeting. Good idea to get fellows over. Yeah. All right, then we'll move on to the next step.
Oh, you weren't in the kitchen.
Oh,
That's okay. No big deal.
It's got the
I've got some-
the wood stove going. on.
Yeah. I've got some Ben and dairy-free Ben and Jerry's.
what?
Dairy-free.
Oh, dude.
It's actually
How long? you been
fairly
out?
good. I don't know. I might eat a piece of this cheese right
I
now.
was gonna say,
See if he
Do
cries all
they
night.
have special market?
have you tried it lately?
I haven't tried it for a long time. I'll call you at 2 AM.
Yeah.
There's also lactose free, so I'm wondering if like, I could be the lactose, I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, good.
I didn't know that.
I'll have it.
How can it be lactose?
Apparently in their
Or
aging
not
process.
pieces,
I
yeah.
don't have lactose.
You're on
Shut
top.
up.
Fairmont?
You're on top.
You ever drink to that Fairmont?
I didn't, I had
That has a filter that filters out lactose, I think.
The Fairmont?
Yeah.
I tried lactate.
It's fairly gross.
Not that it didn't work, it was just.
Or just super good.
It did work. You're very good.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
So did you all get my email I sent you about my newest thoughts and proposal?
I did.
They were
Okay.
good.
I sent one, just kind of that. Apparently it's kind of become like an issue and, upon further thought about the whole scenario. I don't want it to appear as though I am trying to take advantage of the town by not being in the office and this and that, so. Yes,
Well, do you wanna go into executive session or you're good?
I'm not allowed to, I don't think, I've been told
We
by,
got that one.
no,
If
If we talk.
oh, cause you're an elected official, you're not.
I'm appointed.
But you're, it's a,
He's the one.
why couldn't we decide to go into?
on, like, with Clifford.
I think we can, I mean, I don't know if there's anything horrible.
No, I was just asking, yeah. It's really up to you.
I think that it's kind of turned into,
Do you want, do you feel better?
let's just keep it on, let's just. Keep it on air, because, I don't want there to be. It to come out that I didn't do it correctly and we talked when it should have been, because that was kind of one of the things that was brought up, was that even though we've already talked about this before, I didn't correctly warn it, and it's not valid because we didn't have this conversation in the public, with public comment, so. Bonnie and I have been talking, and Bonnie is the one who's in the office. She's the one who's putting in, the majority of the hours. She's been here for 3 years. She knows what she's doing. And I'm kind of taking not so much a backseat, because we're very much hand in hand doing everything together and splitting the, the workload. But because I am the one who's going to be out of the office more, I think that it might make more sense for us to swap titles. I'll be the assistant clerk, Bonnie will be the town clerk, and then that way, I think it would just save us some frustration, confusion, why is the town clerk never in the office and the assistant clerk's always there? So it's gonna be exactly what it is now with the change of title. I'm still gonna do the elections, I'm still gonna run the town meeting, I'm still gonna do everything that we've been doing together, but it just might represent the office better if we swapped positions. And then with that, titles, thank you, yes, titles.
Now, according to state statute and VLCT, for example. The assistant town clerk. Who it is really can do anything the town clerk.
Correct, yeah, we both,
If I choose. to.
right. Well, you're gonna be the town clerk, yeah, so, yeah, we both can do everything.
Right.
We both can have access to all the same portals and all the same. Everything,
Yeah.
so really, I kind of think that we're like co-clerks, but I don't think that you can have two town clerks. And then furthermore. I know that originally we had discussed to keep. Me getting paid close to what I was getting before, but with, the fact that I don't put as many hours in. That it was kind of a higher rate of hourly pay, and I was doing some thinking and looking more at numbers and comparing kind of like the treasurer's side versus the clerk side. And I think that if both of us got 32 an hour, that would be comfortable for both of us. That I think because we are kind of splitting the position, and that is in line with what the treasurer, position is getting as well. And I think that they're kind of equal positions, so that's my proposition to you.
So at the moment, or previously. Before maternity leave, you were.
I was
Salary.
salaried
You were out,
and you were hourly.
and now going forward, it would be.
We both have to be hourly.
Okay.
And I think that because originally, we had kind of thought about adding both of our salaries together and splitting them. I think that Bonnie, because she's gonna be here probably many more hours than I am, should get the higher amount because and so I think that we could leave what was budgeted in those line items, the town clerk was, I don't have it in front of me, 32, and the assistant was, I think, 16. But at 32 an hour, if I work about 10 hours a week, obviously it'll be more some weeks, less some weeks, depending. but it might put us over in the assistant clerk budget by like $3,000. If that's comfortable. And I know we had previously also discussed, the admin assist stipend, and I still would like to get that as a stipend, if that's fine with you. I'll sign a stipend agreement, so I don't run off with money. Yeah, but, so that's our thoughts, what are your thoughts?
And I would get the benefits.
Yes, and Bonnie would get the retirement and the paid vacation and. Well, we have,
I don't need help.
she doesn't need health insurance, but we do have that health insurance, there's, yeah, it was 8,000. So we could either. Don't, you can chime in if you don't want this, we could give her all the 8,000 stipend, or you could keep. A couple thousand to use for the overage on the assistant clerk portion of it. If that's fine with you.
I'll work with whatever.
And. So hour wise, a week, what is? It was
20.
20 and Tanis.
Yeah, so I'm gonna aim for 12. If there's nothing to do, I'm not gonna be in here wasting your time, my time,
Right,
you know, the town's money. If it's an election week, if it's town meeting, if it's that, I might work 20 as well, you know, it'll just depend on what the workload is.
but we more or less budgeted for 32 a week,
32 hours or dollars.
32 hours of town clerking a week.
Oh, between the two of us, yeah, I mean, in the budget, when if you just divide out the specific salaries that. And we have level funded them from last year because of this. Uncertainty of what we're
Right,
doing,
yeah.
so that there wasn't an increase from that also. And you even saved some this past fiscal year because I only got 75% of what was budgeted because of trade. So there was an overage on that also.
Would there potentially, Bonnie, be a chance to expand hours, even not? Like the one thing we've heard, I think, is that there's not. Like either a weekend, morning or a late night, just so, people who work 9 to 5 can never get to the office.
Can I just chime in for a second? I have it listed that I have my cell phone number and that 5 point, like I always have done the whole time. I did meet somebody down here the other day, they called, they said, I can't make it during your open hours, I said, yeah, I'll meet you at 4:30, so, we do offer that, I don't know. How many people are really gonna do it, because when I first started here, I was doing. I think I split the day because nobody was coming during the day, so I came like 7:30 to 11, and then I came back 3:30 to 6, and like nobody came, and I know Jillian stayed on Mondays 12 to 6. And nobody came, so it's like 1 or 2 people.
Right.
But the most people that come in are like, you do a lot of notarization and title search,
And if someone calls me, say at 1 o'clock, how late you open? I say we close at 2, but what's up? And they say, I need something, hey, I'll wait for you. And most of the time, they're here before 3, and I always have something to do. It's not like I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs.
I know, I always drive by and I'm like, what are you doing?
She's twiddling her thumbs.
She's like, I'm working on this and that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Just because I think the answer, the sort of. The complainers in town, either we have to expand office hours to have some of those irregular hours. Or we just have to communicate to.
Yeah.
Tunbridgians that the new way it works is
Just
you
say-
call and email.
Just,
and-
I mean, for the past 5 years, that's kind of, I've been, really the TQ, the Facebook page, the website, like I've really been trying to push and be like, please just call me. I live 3 doors down. I will come down and meet you. And so I think there are quite a few people that know that. I've met people at 8 o'clock to notarize stuff in, in the driveway, like, so people are utilizing it. I think it might just be, the handful of people that.
Yeah, that one complaint that gets the loudest.
Exactly,
Exactly.
but if that's the case,
I don't-
then even at this select board TQ, we can
Right.
echo what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
Right. here's the
And I've
idea.
been sort of telling, like, as people come in to do research and stuff. I've been telling, there's a chance our hours are changing effective, July 1st.
Okay.
Just let me know what they are,
Right.
so I'll just tell them what we kind of talked about. I said, but it will be posted, for July 1st. And, I didn't get any negative feedback.
Yeah.
Of any of that. So,
Is it on the website
It is.
that says, can't make it to office hours, call?
I really also think the majority of the people with COVID are just so like, just everybody calls, they're like, just wanna confirm, just wanna make sure this is fine, do I need an appointment? It's like, it's just kind of the new norm
Yeah.
now. So many other town clerks still require appointments for anybody.
They do.
Oh, yeah. They keep their front door locked, you have to like call them and have them come get you to come in.
yeah, Chelsea, that's all I know. I don't know if it's changed now, but really, I told Karen, well, Karen, you didn't go into the office. You have to make an appointment, and then
Yep.
she pulled everything.
Go ahead.
So we need to, if we do this, we need to appoint Bonnie as clerk and you as assistant clerk.
Yeah,
You think yours already?
I resign.
Well,
That was easy.
Yeah.
And now I'll do something.
Okay.
But we could do it as effective as of right now, or do you wanna wait till the first of July?
Yeah, let's do July.
June
June
30th. I
30th.
work Monday, June 30th anyway, so
Okay,
we'll just do that. We
Change
just
your-
start.
you'll walk out a little higher in your shoes.
Yeah, no, I had to do a lot of coaxing, like, everything will be fine, please. She's like, I came in as a fill-in for one maternity leave and I've gone through two now. So I know,
But I know how long I've been here.
yeah, how it's up, right, 4 years.
Look at your kids.
And actually, Becky actually mentioned that too, that I know vacation, but if I get vacation, I'd like it. So it recognizes that I've been here 3 years already.
Okay. That's fair.
but, then,
All right. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that. Bonnie as the new town clerk and Mariah. The new assistant town clerk, starting June 30th. July 1st.
That's the new fiscal year, so July 1st.
Yeah.
Effective.
Effective.
Or a rate of, we need to,
$32 an hour.
yes. If that's good with you.
Well, we gotta vote on it again.
Might not be, right?
There in the budget or somewhere add these sort of details too.
I will, yeah.
And that you're staying on instead.
Yes.
Oh,
Not the orange one.
Pretty excited over here.
That water.
Not-
That's why you're dropping it, right?
Not used to.
Nick,
We
really?
have to work up to the straw.
So would you like to,
Back to the motion.
okay,
Yes.
we'll receive the retirement and health insurance benefit. Do we want to do the whole 8,000 stipend, or do you want to do some of that as an overflow if I get over the 16,000? Or do we want to say we have leftover funds from last year with maternity leave, so $3,000?
What's the 16,000?
16,000 is what is currently budgeted for the administrative assistant position. Not, excuse me, for the town clerk assistant, yeah. But when I was doing the math, if I were to work an average of 12 hours per week
At 32.
for 52 weeks a year, which I might take a week off for Christmas or, like, whatever, then it would come out to 19. So it's off by like 27.
Right, yeah. Wait, but this is the 8,000 health care cycle?
Correct, so yeah, Bonnie, because she's not taking health insurance, but is now working the full-time hours. Would be qualified for health insurance, so because she's not taking the health insurance, typically you have offered half or, you know, a third of the money as like a stipend. Well, it gets what the check.
I think, yeah, I think it's probably.
I,
Are you buying the Bonnie's money now?
yeah.
And this
So
is
how-
Really up to you two, I mean, I think we budgeted for it, right, so it's
Right.
how it's divided, I think it's more for you to work out. We'll support that.
Well, so, I mean, I would love for her to get the whole thing, obviously, cause I did, but. Are you fine, is what I'm asking, is if I work 12 hours a week for 52 weeks and we go over that budgeted amount that we had by $3,000.
Yeah, because if I go on vacation,
Then I'm gonna fill in for Bonnie for her hours. So is that detrimental to you?
I don't think so, not to me.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering. For our budget, moves up in the year, because it's not a perfect. Exchange, is it, like you're getting things that Mariah did, right? So
It-
it's gonna be.
it is a-
More money, won't we?
No, it's a perfect exchange,
Oh,
because
really?
previously, when, what we had kind of talked about before was we had talked about us. Adding, merging the money together and the town, like neither one of us working long enough hours to get the retirement or get the health insurance. But now that's kind of changed, and so we're just gonna keep it exactly how it's budgeted. So Bonnie's getting the full town clerk budget amount along with the retirement, along with the health insurance portion. And I'm just getting the
And
assistant.
Vacation, you were also gonna get,
No, I'm not getting vacation or anything.
no, but did you? She's
Previously.
gonna take vacation.
Well, I was salaried, so I didn't really have
Right.
a vacation, I just got a paycheck. So this is kind of a new thing with
But you
that.
would take what, 2 or 4 weeks off a year?
Yeah, Becky never really gave me a number. I mean, I don't think I took more than a week off, but
Yeah. But we did then we budget for an assistant to cover during that period? Like, do we ever, do that?
I don't think so. I think we kind of just said,
Since you didn't take any days?
right,
or and the two, the assistant, went on vacation enough times. So,
yeah,
Right.
so,
and even,
yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, as long as it seems to
I think it will,
fit with our budget.
yes, we definitely looked it over and made a point to keep it within that, because again, I don't wanna.
yeah, we
Rock
didn't
the
like
boat.
broaden the perimeter of what was budgeted
Right.
for
Right,
this
that's
next
great.
fiscal year, we
Yeah.
just kind of stayed with it. Or I let it.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd like 6 weeks of vacation.
yeah,
So would I.
Bonnie
Yeah,
goes on a
you
lot of
hear me
vacations.
drive.
Those
We hear you
times.
do a lot of driving, yes.
That's we.
All right, there's been a motion made and seconded. We all switcheroo on the town clerk and. Assistant town clerk, money thing. Yes, all in favor of whatever it was we said, please say aye.
Motion.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Mariah has skillfully translated it to,
I did.
Downgraded herself.
yeah,
It's all I've done since I started. I was actually looking back at the budget from when I was first hired in 2020. And every year, instead of getting an increase, it just was decrease. Chunk, and then now, here I am, not even the town clerk anymore. That's fine. It's all worked out. It's all been relative to how much I've been staying with my children, so it's a fair trade.
If you need to have switch around, have
yeah.
vice chair become chair. But Gary keep his salary.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
And benefit.
What do you got, an extra $50 or something?
Yeah.
Like I say about firemen, they don't earn very much money, but they have a lot of fun. All right, well, thank you for sorting all that stuff out.
Thank you.
Both of you.
I hope that it's the last time it's.
Now we're on to other business.
Right.
Do we have any other business?
She's fine.
Um,
First
Should I ask?
issues, like cutting the trees.
I still haven't heard from, what's her name, I've gotta get on that. if I can get hold of it. You know what the Katie Barnaby's telephone number is?
I don't have her telephone number. I was just talking around through Facebook Messenger.
I am asking about the land.
No, about cutting trees.
Oh, okay. You want me to send her a message?
Yeah.
I'll do it right this month.
We got a quote from Isaac, right?
Right,
She you just wanna fell them on her land?
yeah, and we'll clean up the mess and everything. Actually, she was gonna have to, I saw her on her other day, and she was gonna ask Cody about it.
I have a chainsaw. I can help you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Try to cut my finger off. I can do
how much will you charge?
For the
it.
thing.
Free.
We'd
For a
rather,
new finger.
Under the chain.
we'd rather pounded some nails than that.
Oh, for the grant?
Oh.
Bring your chainsaw.
Still need to. Do an assessment of the lot too.
Yes,
Since it's-
Mariah, you can do the number if you want it.
Oh, sure, you have Katie's number?
802,
yep.
The
738,
shed,
yep.
Dividing that.
8713.
Thank you. I'll send her a text.
We get a quote from Mike Howe about dividing the little shed.
he said, I called him about something else, and I think he said he'd sent the quote in. And I said, well, if you've done that, then start on it, you're gonna do it this week, so, oh,
My parking.
And I keep thinking about those steps out there. You build it on, yeah, you get on
These are
there,
bad too. No,
yeah, same condition.
yeah, not right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Finance.
Bye, Marianne.
Bye.
Thank you.
But he could do that on a Thursday or Friday when this building is not occupied.
Yeah.
So I can call him about that if you guys want to. Did you have a quote from Mike Hall about the little shack at the transfer station?
Maybe 6 months ago. I can look and back and see if I have it still. It's probably in the folder.
Sure, it's reasonable, but
Or.
if you're gonna do it, he's gonna, oh, that part of the conversation, he's gonna get whatever tubers he needs, whatever Bethel Mills. But we have the pine lumber up in the 1-4 spot. He's gonna use that for actually the sheet it instead of using plywood and everything. So it shouldn't cost us too much.
Did you want it?
Yeah, I would like to know if I can get permission to get a better air conditioner for our office. That one in there. did
What
not-
brings that up?
Huh?
Brings that up?
Go,
This-
go sit
We
there.
freeze in the winter,
Yeah.
and we're too hot. in the
Oh my
summer.
gosh.
I do it up.
Nope, yeah, nobody wants to.
Does the MERP grant include heat pumps? That we could use or air conditioning or something?
I think so, because Marianne was just saying that that was the only portion of the grant they got, or of the
Oh, right.
RFP that they had received a bid for.
Oh, yeah.
We were even wondering if like we could post on like Facebook and say, looking, you know, the town office is
Right.
looking for one, do you have one for,
Marketplace.
yeah, for cheap that you wanna
Yeah,
get rid
just,
of,
just to get.
just as a
through-
Band-Aid, right?
Yeah.
I just threw one away.
Oh, great.
Been in the garage for 20 years.
Do you-
is what he did.
Do you have any other filing cabinets kicking around?
Small ones,
That's perfect.
look, the little
Yeah.
two-drawer thing,
Can we have it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll bring it down,
Okay, Marianne needs one.
okay.
And I've been putting off buying it. I'm like, I think we have one in the basement, and then I keep forgetting. And I said, Gary probably has one in the back.
Yeah, there's one in the shop,
Perfect.
I think it's black.
It doesn't matter what color it is.
Right, so, I don't know, I tell them. That's the sort of thing that we should always go to like. Or leasing or something,
Mhm.
this thing,
Always have.
overloaded, like,
Yeah.
they got rid of their cabinet.
Yeah.
My auction law is off.
I have 2 questions for you. Do we want to appoint Kevin Rose as an alternate for Two Rivers?
Sure.
Okay, I
Is he-
figure, but
Isn't he always?
yes, but I didn't have an actual yes or no confirmation. Yeah, please.
Make a motion. Have no, all, no,
Yeah,
Or is it a reappointment?
yeah, to reappoint. Kevin Rose as alternate representative.
All in favor of much. Motion and John second. Is aye.
Would you want to?
Nothing.
Baseball meeting.
And then I also got, did you see the email, the long one from Bill Turkulich about helping get more information about town events and, you know, he was hoping, he was saying that he would,
I saw it, but I didn't read it.
okay, well, you can have this.
So,
Right.
So, yeah.
Then I also got an email from Mary Bridge. Did you clean her culvert out? Did you talk to
I
her?
cleaned the ditch.
Okay,
When did she email?
this morning.
Oh,
She said she had a question about the culverts. If the town is saying, she must have read the minutes, that they're not responsible for the culverts, then why did they dig up the ones that were bigger and went from the driveway to past the garage and put two different ones in? And they did do it because Tom came to our door and asked if we needed to get our cars out. So why are they not liable to maintain them? They were not asked to replace them to begin with. Who's Tom?
that's a driveway culvert.
Yeah, so I guess it
That's
goes.
Tom Densmore.
Was he at, the select board or something? I don't know.
But it may,
Unless it was Thomas Point, I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
It's unclear what she said, but
Yeah, so this is the email anyways I got about it. I didn't know if you wanted to talk to her or you wanted to set Rodney up or,
I want to send Rodney.
okay.
So I remember, I can't remember the guy's name from the Better Roads, Better Back Roads or whatever. We had an agreement. That normally we didn't replace any driveway culverts.
Oh, but if we had to do the ditch
Right,
and everything, then we replaced culvert, right, because you did that over by. Oh, it's.
right, but. In the wording of whatever we signed, we said that was a one-time thing, we'd replace it at our cost. Through the grant,
This month.
but after that, it's your
but
code,
it wasn't our duty to,
right,
forever maintain.
and. I don't know about the rest of it, I know about Tom going to her door and,
Was that part of the Better Back Roads improvements?
yeah,
It was.
and. I don't remember what size culvert was. Under the road, under the driveway. But I'm sure they're at least the same size, because they're 18 inches now, if not bigger. Than what they were,
It was probably an 8 or a 10.
no, I think they were probably 14 or 16 inches at least. But the bottom line is that the town is not responsible for a driveway culvert. And I took my tractor and I dug. Between the two culverts. And. I couldn't find the end, and I didn't wanna just go in there and dig, but I couldn't find the end of the culvert by the shop, but I could find the end of the culvert by the driveway, so I dug it out and now it's filled right back up again. And then gonna dig it again, but
What was that?
That's the pay increases for all of the town employees that you have to approve, so it just had different ones. That were previously discussed, so I just crossed those out, but what we just approved.
I get it.
as long as we make sure that the numbers are correct. We got, look, it was fixed last year. Is that 10% over what the road crew, I mean, the old. Yeah, the old numbers are there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The old rate and new rate.
Yeah.
There's some good math.
That'd be-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else, or do you want? Into the shoppers.
We can sign orders. So I don't know if we have to bore the public with that. Unless anybody's gonna go, wait,
I did the TQ last week.
oh, thank you.
Thank you. That was nice.
They only covered legal trails and you know,
No,
and
Oh, wait.
and cell phone tower, so those are two things.
We done that. Hour back from Karen for.
Right. No, no kidding. We should.
And,